Greetings everyone, hey how you doing? It's Matt Sella. Today we are doing a special review for the Netflix series Aggretsuko Season 3. That's right folks, Marc and I, joined via satellite radio and all, we have binge-watched the entire 10 episodes of Season 3 of Aggretsuko, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. But don't you worry folks, for the first half of this review, we will go spoiler-free. We're not going to give away any major plot points, particularly that happens about halfway through the season, so don't you worry about that. And then once we give our general impressions, I say we'll finish the latter half of the review here, talking about specific plot points that we found interesting, endearing, what have you, especially regarding the last couple episodes. Does that sound fair to you, everyone? Cool. Oh yes, and as I said before, I'm joined here with Marc. How you doing out there, Marc?
Matt, I'm just a little tiny panda who's not a real panda, but a red panda, going through life one step at a time.
And so aren't we all? Boy, it is a tough world out there. Gosh dingy darn it. Capitalism. Am I right? Am I right? Anywho, before we proceed, may I remind you folks that if you enjoy reviews just like this, please consider liking this video, subscribing, doing all that. And we have other reviews that Marc and I have done on my channel here, so be sure to explore the plethora of videos that we have. We recently wrapped up in reviewing the show The Owl House, and come end of September, I believe DuckTales will be returning. Isn't that right, Marc?
It is, and I couldn't be more pumped.
Exactly. So definitely check out the channel whenever you get the chance. Anywho, Marc, let's proceed to talking about Aggretsuko Season 3. What was the season generally about?
The evils of microtransactions, pop idol groups, and dating. The 3 sins of life.
You know what, Marc? You made the fact that I didn't have to improvise the summary for it much easier. Thanks for that, Marc. I really do appreciate that.
Oh, wow. I was just being weird. But yeah, that's what I'm here for. That's what I do. It was totally intentional.
But that generally is the overall summary of this season, is the fact that we have Aggretsuko going into debt because of microtransactions. Thank you, AAA companies. And then she stumbles upon a second gig, or a second job, if you will, of helping out a little pop idol band, which opens up the doors to other hobbies becoming a possible moneymaker. Well, Marc, I babbled on long enough already. Why don't you tell some of the fine folks now, what are your general thoughts on this season without going into much spoilers?
Hard to say without going into much spoilers. Well, we're 3 seasons in now for this series. I think for me, the standout season is still Season 2. Season 3 still goes strong. All the characters except for the yoga instructor are back, and I miss the yoga instructor because he was wise and trusting. But yeah, without spoilers, I would just say it's up there with all the other seasons. It's not a bad season. I liked Season 2 a little more, and I just continue to like the show. The characters, the world, everything's fun. It's all relatable, even if you haven't been victim to microtransactions, weird pressures in dating, and, idol groups. But, I think there's something here for everyone, kind of young grown-ups, if that's even the right term, just kind of going through life.
Yeah, I definitely believe that the season, while it may not be as good as the second one, in my opinion, it continues to explore things that we as adults may be going through. I mean, like last couple of seasons definitely talked about like, what are you doing with your work, seeking romance, settling down, that sort of thing, whether or not you're ready for that or not. In this season, it definitely deals with how are you going to handle debt that you make because of your unguarded inclinations. So I thought that was a really fun kind of slice of life topic to explore in this episode. While it may not be as super endearing as some of the seeking romance ones of the past, which I believe is more of the focus, we do have more character arcs going on here about who likes who and who's willing to take the next step into things. And I thought this season did a really good job at furthering the relationships between familiar characters we like. And once again, I'll say this much. I've said in past reviews of this series before, even though this story takes place in Japan, I really do find the themes around all this quite universal, especially if you're someone who's trying to make it in the world, like post-college, you're trying to find a stable job, a decent living wage, or just trying to get out there to socialize where you're still kind of like figuring yourself out. I think there's a lot of that relatability here, and I think that's why I really appreciate this show. Whether or not you find yourself in the same career path as Aggretsuko or not, there's still that someone you may know who's been going through similar things, albeit probably not as lucky or as fantastical in terms of how big the opportunity may be. While not terribly engaging on particular scenarios, I do find the series to continue to entertain me. I think it's a lot of fun to watch. I look forward to checking out the seasons every time they drop. I will say this much though, I don't know if this really counts as a negative, but it does kind of bum me out that there were 10 episodes, yes, and I was expecting each episode to be about 20 minutes long at the least. I think they were actually more like 15 to 16 minutes long, and so it kind of only took like one evening for me to binge the whole thing, which kind of makes me sad considering the art style, the flash style animation. I don't really know specifically how the studio animates this show, but given the style and a lot of the reused backgrounds and things like that, I really feel like we could have padded it out to be a bit more fuller, but that's just more of a nitpick for me. Mark, did you want to say what your overall rating or takeaway is from this that people can think about when they go check out the season for themselves?
Well, I think just kind of as I hinted at before, that if you've been a fan of the series so far, you're going to continue to be a fan of the series right through this. For me, actually, I appreciate the shorter season and the shorter episodes compared to some other Netflix's offerings because I was able to kind of get through it in a day just because I'm, an adult and I am busy with life. So actually, this kind of actually wound up being a very convenient and good way to watch media for me. And I appreciate that about this series.
And I'll say that will do it for a general spoiler-free section of our Aggretsuko Season 3 review. If you have not seen Season 3 of the show yet, and you don't want to be spoiled, then I suggest you save this video for later, watch the series, come back, and comment in the section below what were some of your favorite moments or least favorite moments. In the meantime, though, if you have seen Season 3, or you don't care about spoilers at all, we will proceed, Mark and I, to talk about some little plot points and things like that, specifics that may happen in the show that could be considered spoilers. So, you all have been warned. Spoilers ahead. Y'all ready? Then here we go. Mark, were there any specific characters or plot points in the season itself that you found to be really endearing, interesting, or don't work for ya?
Nothing that I'd say doesn't work for me. I will say for Haida, it was good to see him kind of have a little bit more of not a resolution, but just sort of have his sort of things that he's been going through the past 2 seasons a bit addressed without, we're in the spoiler, but I feel like that's kind of the end of the season anyway. But, just his sort of unrequited shy love for Retsuko kind of being brought to the forefront to the point where, things got really real and horrifying, which is something we kind of forget, I think, with this show, just because it is the Sanrio Hello Kitty-esque style, but it is very much a more adult-oriented show. But I think just him having having to face some of his own issues was pretty good towards the end there. The idol thing wasn't the most interesting thing for me, I think, because it's just not something I relate to, since I'm not into Japanese idols or pop music or anything like that, but I get it, and it makes a lot of sense given the fact that Aggretsuko is Japanese, and so this would be like a big thing in her culture. So I like that. There was what was the name of the girl who also likes Haida?
Inui,
yeah. She was actually really cute. I kind of liked her a lot as a new character. And also, I don't know why this season, but I really loved Gori, the other high level businesswoman.
Yeah, Director Gori,
yeah, I don't know, for me, she's always like a nice little like moment character in past seasons, but I really liked her in this one. I don't know why. I feel like she kind of felt more present in a great way. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you a lot there, Mark. When it comes to cutesy looking shows, it's Sanrio. Yeah, it's the Hello Kitty guys. And while this show does come out to be TV-14 here in the US, I didn't expect the show to really go too far in terms of its material, aside from having like the occasional foul language, like they say shit, bitch, and a couple of things like that. Nothing too outrageous. But ever since that obsessive fan with the hundreds of handshake tickets came in, held onto Retsuko's hand, and then started calling her a slut and a whore and a whole bunch of other horrible shit, I was like, whoa, where the hell did this come from? And then it gets even worse in the last episode, where the stalker is just so creepy and so disturbing that he actually attempts to murder Retsuko with a switchblade knife. And while she came out to be perfectly fine, Hido, who saved Retsuko, actually got cut, and we actually see blood in this world. And I was like, dude, this place just got really interesting all of a sudden. So, I don't know why. Like, every time I watch like cutesy shows that suddenly get too real, it just fascinates the hell out of me. But to kind of jump to your point, I actually kind of glad that Inui, the dog girl in The Office. I was afraid that because it's TV shows and usually everyone has an ulterior motive, that I actually thought she may have been the obsessive fan at the beginning, but then clearly she is not. But I did like what she did for Haida's arc, as in she genuinely did like Haida. However, if you observe the behavior, he wasn't really making any advancements on her and kind of like stuck her a little bit in the friend zone, even though it was borderline like establishing a relationship. And the fact that Inui was the one who was taking all the steps forward in that relationship, she really needed to see where Haida stood. And so I liked how even when Haida was going back and forth with Feneko about what that could mean, like there's a lot of deep relationship questions there where I suppose if you're in an actual relationship or you're trying to establish one, it's really a partnership that you got to think about how that relationship can be established, like whether or not if you're both at the same level or not. Like, it's important to be, like, transparent with each other, what you want. And Haida, who, it's like you said, Mark, he really likes Retsuko. And I actually kind of liked his little conversation origin of how he met Retsuko the first time, but then just kind of established like the fact that she was stealing water, storing them in water bottles for her home, I suppose, because she probably couldn't afford much. I think, ironically speaking, that really humanized her for Haida, and I think that's what snowballed his interest in her. Now, even moments when Retsuko was saying to Haida, the fact that he doesn't know her, I thought about it over the last 2 seasons, and yeah, Haida actually hasn't had any moments, like personal, casual moments with Retsuko outside of the office life. And I really feel like that actually did solidify what he had to go through in this season, which made me appreciate him even more. Yes, you could argue, say like, well, that made him a pretty stagnant character. Yes, he's been stagnant for a while, but he got the wake-up call, say like, hey, if he wants to try to pursue Retsuko and convince her that Haida can be a potentially reliable partner, he's got to be willing to be spontaneous and take that step. Even if it may end in failure or he may not completely understand it, at least he will learn from it. And I think that's a very important lesson that this season really puts on the forefront, at least in the last episode.
No, I totally agree, Matt. The blood, the just everything about it. I think it's almost just kind of a shock. I think because we kind of haven't had Aggretsuko for quite a while at this point, that it was almost a shock to see it again and then see how far it would go after, being kind of in a comfort zone. I think with the series of like, okay, we know what's going to happen. She's cute, she's nice, she's stressed out at work, but when she goes to the karaoke club, she rages fucking rage. But it's kind of nice. I will say this because I feel like I kind of haven't been too positive with the series, not with the series, with the season. But if I had to say this, I will say this season proved that the show can still surprise us all the way in a third season, because a third season is kind of where I feel like a show really is either going to hit its stride or kind of show that it kind of is going to fizzle out. And I think this did show it was going to hit its stride, even if it wasn't as much of a personal enjoyment for me compared to the second season. But overall, yeah, no, I echo those points. And I don't know if we have a season 4 confirmed at the moment, but I'm very happy with it.
And it was also really cool to see some characters return that had their arcs and moments with Retsuko, like Tadando returned and in a way helped Haida out to really discover what he wants, as well as a few other characters. And to quickly jump onto the new characters though, I apologize, I don't remember specifically the name of the producer, the cheetah jaguar guy. Well, what would you say his animal was supposed to be?
I thought it was like a cheetah, but I could be wrong.
Either way, I remember when he was first introduced, I was like, oh no, the debt and the whole insurance arc. And I was half expecting the season to focus around a lot of courtroom drama type shit. But the fact that this somehow barrel rolled into, also, quick thing, I actually thought he was going to be like a mobster or something.
We were just going to go full Yakuza on this shit.
A little bit. I was half expecting that. But it turns out, oh no, he's just a part-time producer who's trying to build up this band, pop star band. And the fact that he ran into Retsuko, who happens to be an accountant at a company, found a way to utilize her skill to try to help the company make money, profit, and spread its merch. So I thought that was kind of a cool way to unravel events that could appeal to Retsuko, even though she has no interest in singing for them at first, but especially the fact that, yeah, her entire career is pretty much accounting things. The fact that she gets to work with a team and really like take command of how the money is spent and where they could make money. It really exercised her skill. And yeah, sure, I agree with you, Mark. Like, I'm not into like the idol J-pop thing at all either. But in a way, this arc for her acts as a conduit for other kinds of career paths that people may have experienced. And so I think that's where I was able to make that connection.
No, that's totally fair, and I totally can see that.
I will say this much, though. I was surprised that the lead idol, I'm not sure if she was a bunny or something else, but I was surprised that she was actually a year older than Retsuko.
That was kind of funny, actually.
That was funny, but it's also really interesting to think about, too, because, like, in a way that acts, because I do know a bit about the industry of pop Asian music, and it is kind of disturbing in my opinion. But the fact that a 26-year-old says, screw it, even though I might be too old to be an idol, I'm still going to do it. Even though I might be at a low paying job, I'm going to put in the effort to learn and grow. And I don't know, I found that really inspiring. Also, I have no idea what the other two idol girls were supposed to be. I couldn't tell if they were hamster or guinea pigs.
Is a weirdly good question. I guess I didn't really give them that much thought. That is a weirdly good question. I thought they were hamsters. I was getting like a Hamtaro vibe.
Yeah, I know. Weird, right? Overall, though, I think you said it best, Mark. This season surprised us. It surprised the hell out of me. And I welcome that subversion of expectation because I liked how the way it wrapped up. Will there be a season 4? There could be. I mean, at the end, I actually liked it when Retsuko went straight metal in front of Haida, and he didn't freak out at all. He was just hearing her like scream off the top of her lungs saying like, you don't know jack shit. Don't come in here pretending you know what's up. The world is punching me, yada, yada, yada. And the fact that Haida actually went up to her and grabbed her hands and stopped her, I was like, oh shit. But the fact that Haida was like, then let's punch them together. And I was like, that's going to be fun. I don't know. I just thought that was like a little fun dynamic there where it's like most people who see Retsuko go full metal, they freak out, but Haida's like, no, this is like wind in my face, but I'm going to keep pushing forward.
It's commendable.
It is. It's very commendable. Mad respects. Well, folks, I say that'll do it for our spoiler section of the review of Aggretsuko Season 3. Let us know in the comment section below whether or not you agreed with any of our points. Were there any other points that we failed to bring up that really stood out to you? Did you like the season? Did you not like the season? Share your thoughts. Join the conversation. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, ring that bell to be notified when new videos drop. And if you want to support me directly, consider going to my Patreon or do a one-time donation at my Streamlabs. Links are in the description below. This is Matt Sella.
This is Mark.
Thanking you all for tuning in.